What's going on, guys? It's Jack here with John, looking at another NBA draft class, the Kentucky Wildcats. Each year, these guys put in, a group of prospects that are highly touted, and this year was no different. A pair of guards, De'Aaron Fox and Malik Monk, lead the group here. It's a smaller group than usual, with Bam Adebayo rounding the trio out, but they still have two guys who are probably going to go in the top 10, so no slouch by any means in this Kentucky class. Now, John, what do you think about the headliners here, Fox and Monk?
Yeah, I like Monk, but I'm going to talk about Fox a little bit here first. Fox I'm a huge fan of. I think he's the third best player in this draft class after Lonzo Ball and Markelle Fultz. And I think he's a guy who, with his speed, with his scoring ability, with his basketball IQ, I think he can right away be a premier point guard in the NBA, and I think he can become a John Wall type of player down the road. I think right away he'll be an effective one guard, and then down the road become, really a superstar, I think, if he continues to fill out his body, to fix some of the turnovers that he has at times. But I really like his skill set. I really like his athletic ability. And if he goes to the right team, I think he can be, an immediate impact player and definitely a blue chip type guy. And then just talking about Monk briefly, I do like Monk. I don't like him as much as Fox, but I do think he's a top 8 type of player. I have him at my number 8 slot. And I think he's just, going to be a good player, not necessarily a great player, but he'll be a really good role player, backline starter, someone who shouldn't be expected to give you too much, but, from the scoring perspective, he can give you 16, 18 a night and be a solid number 2 type option for you.
Yeah, and so for me, it was interesting following these two guards throughout the season, just because in the beginning of the season, I was definitely higher on Monk than Fox, but by the end of the year, that had flipped. And for me, as a talent evaluator, one of the things, and it's consistent for me throughout, the football draft and here in the basketball draft, is versatility. How many things can you do for me on the field, on the court? And Fox can just do far more than Monk. Monk, to me, is a bit too one-dimensional. Yes, his one dimension is, extreme. He's extremely talented in putting the ball in the basket. He's able to make a lot of contested shots and contested threes, and when he gets it going, he's really tough to stop. But besides scoring, his defense is so to me, especially as a team defender, where I think he's got a long way to go. With Fox, on the other hand, I think he just impacts the game in far more areas, and therefore should be a top 5 pick in this year's draft. But I don't think Monk is too far behind. I think he'll go top 10 for sure, maybe top 12 or so. But if I were a team, I'd just be worried. He's got a slight frame. He's not very long, and so I'd be worried that he's a bit too one-dimensional. And for me personally, it'd be tough to select him unless he's just clearly above everyone else on the board.
Yeah, and I think in a draft class that has as much depth as that one, I can see your reluctance in wanting to take him top 10 or top 8, top 6, something like that. Moving on here to the last Kentucky guy, and it feels strange to talk about only 3 guys when they put out, it seems like 4 or 5 almost on a consistent basis. But Bam Adebayo, who's no slouch in his own right, he's definitely a rim runner type big who, at 6'10", 7'3" wingspan, he's a guy who can come off the bench in my mind and just give you some energy, give you some rebounding, and, give you some, baskets here and there around the rim. Jack, what do you think about Adebayo? What do you think his role should be, and where do you think he should go in the draft?
Well, Adebayo's a bit of an interesting case because, people forget, but there was some rumblings about him being a top 5 player before this season started. And, Dwight Howard was the comp for him. And he's a very good finisher. He's explosive off of 2 feet. And at times he can switch out and guard on the perimeter. But, there are concerns. He's He's not very developed. His defense isn't as strong as you'd like it to be, especially for a guy who, he's not really a jump shooter, so he's really a rim runner, as John said. And he really just needs to improve a lot on that end of the court, especially in just his IQ. His basketball IQ is what I think is scaring off some teams, and the reason why he's in that low to mid 30s on most teams' board, and I don't disagree with that rating, especially since this year's class is so deep, and there are similar players to Bam Adebayo in this class, and I think he's just been kind of leapfrogged and kind of passed over by several players in this class.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. I think he's definitely been passed over at this point by several players and several bigs, really. But I think he has a chance to develop into a decent role player and someone who can come off the bench and definitely give you some bench energy if he continues to improve and continues to fill out his overall game. But guys, let us know what you think about the Kentucky draft class this year. Jack and I agree De'Aaron Fox is the number one player there. Do you think so? Do you think it's Malik Monk? Let us know. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for listening, guys. We're out.